Welcome to our movie recaps. For quite a long time, people controlled the earth, making an infection that gave knowledge to gorillas. Notwithstanding, this infection additionally made people lose their knowledge and the capacity to talk. This caused a conflict among people and primates. Yet, there was a chimp that could make people and primates live as one. His name was Caesar. Be that as it may, Caesar had kicked the bucket, and different chimps were doing the last custom to recognize Caesar. Numerous ages after Caesar's passing, at some point, there were 3 youthful primates climbing the most elevated precipice to search for hawk eggs. Those chimps were No, Naya, and Sana. They got 3 bird eggs, however, as indicated by their custom. They needed to leave 1 egg. They required those eggs for an approaching old enough function. No didn't get the egg, yet he ended up seeing one more home on the most noteworthy precipice, the most hard to reach. Yet, he actually climbed the bluff. No practically fell, yet he had long last figured out how to get the egg. They were stunned to find the sweeping on the pony they were riding on was missing. It turns out the sweeping was taken by somebody. They pursued that individual, showing up close to the valley. In reality, they were prohibited to cross the valley, yet Anna took the mental fortitude to take the sweeping that was hanging. There was blood on the cover. However, it wasn't gorilla's blood. It was human blood, which they called reverberations. Showing up at the town, the residents welcomed them joyfully. No's mom was likewise glad to see her child prevail with regards to getting a hawk's egg on the most elevated precipice. The mother told No to meet his dad, who was an ornithologist. Noah's dad was glad for his child who prevailed with regards to climbing the most elevated precipice. However, he sniffed the smell of human blood on No's cover. The gorillas groups felt that people were adversaries, so No's dad sent his warrior to view as the human. Around evening time, No was fixing his mom's fish dryer. He was stunned to see a human scrounger in the hovel. The people took their fish, and more terrible, Noah's egg was broken in light of the human. Apprehensive that his dad would be disheartened, No chose to search for another egg that very evening. No went searching for a substitution egg. However, that evening, he heard commotions coming from the backwoods. At the point when he checked it, Noah found loads of gorillas killed, and he didn't have any acquaintance with them. It was Noah's dad's soldiers who had killed them, and abruptly one more troop came over. Noah was stowing away, figuring out that the troop was driven by a gorilla. They came here to search for people. Tragically, Noah's pony emerged, so the troop utilized it to search for Noah's family. All the soldiers drove by the gorilla butchered Noah's tribe utilizing their electric shock gadget. Noah's dad requested that Noah help, and Noah searched higher up. Noah and his dad liberated every one of the birds. Then, at that point, the gorilla came, causing the battle inescapable. In that battle, Noah tumbled from a level, shocked by the gorilla. At the point when Noah awakened, Noah thought of himself as alone. There was no other person in his town. Even his dad had passed on. Obviously, Noah was so miserable, and he promptly covered his dad while promising to bring all his faction back home. On his way, Noah was trailed by his dad's falcon, and he tracked down his mom's garments out and about. This was Noah's most memorable opportunity to see the rest of the world. The falcon generally followed. No, yet it didn't befriend him. Noah proceeded with his excursion, seeing smoke on a precipice, then quickly taking a look at it. It drove Noah to a spot where he met an orangutan named Raka. Noah made sense of that his whole faction had been killed by a bandit clan of chimps. Raka said his companion was additionally killed by the soldiers. Then Raka showed a book to Noah. It turns out Raka was a supporter of Caesar. Raka made sense of that Caesar was caring, joining people and chimps. Caesar was the head of the multitude of chimps tribe from old times, and Raka was one of Caesar's adherents. Be that as it may, sadly, Caesar's adherents had been all butchered, and he was the final straggler. No let Raka know that he had seen people, and he thought people were simply irritating. However, Raka expressed that some time ago people and primates lived next to each other, and it was a result of Caesar. Around then, they saw a human who frequently took Noah's fish, and it seemed like the human followed Noah. That is the reason Raka chose to follow Noah's excursion, since he truly needed to meet people and study them. Around evening time, when they were resting, the human returned, moving toward Raka and Noah. It seemed as though the human was exceptionally ravenous. Raka gave her food, and out of pity, Raka likewise gave her a sweeping with the goal that she wouldn't get cold. The circumstance has been switched. The human has now become like a creature, while the creature really has human-like attributes. That evening, Noah was strolling near. Then, at that point, he showed up at the observatory. There, No saw a telescope which could see stars. No knew nothing, so he promptly investigated it, and was extremely astonished by what he saw. The human additionally followed. Noah investigated the telescope and gave a similar response as No, feeling that the human shared something practically speaking with him. Noah at long last consented to take the human alongside them. On the way, they saw a few groups of zebras, which they called striped ponies. Unexpectedly, a few people showed up, savoring water that spot. They thought people were practically terminated, yet it turned out there were as yet a significant number of them living like the creatures in the backwoods. Nobody would in any case go searching for his family, and Rakar would remain here, giving No his jewelry. Unexpectedly, a veiled troop shows up, quickly going after the people to search for the youngster. Noah felt frustrated about the youngster who was being pursued, so he needed to help. The youngster entered the wheat field, so the gorilla sent his soldiers to encompass the field. Out of nowhere, the youngster yelled. With Rakar's assistance, they had the option to move away from the looters, figuring out how to get away. Noah and Rakar were shocked on the grounds that the youngster could talk, in any event, yelling No's name. She said that her name was May. She expressed that there were a few people who could talk like her, yet they were totally killed by the marauders. This time, May was quiet since she needed to safeguard herself. No was irritated in light of the fact that May ought to have told the truth all along on the off chance that she could talk. However, eventually, No was sufficiently thoughtful to give her his mom's cover. Around evening time, No was fixing electric implement. They then proceeded with their excursion and showed up at a scaffold over an extremely quick waterway. At the point when they needed to cross, they were abruptly trapped by the gorilla and his soldiers, so the battle couldn't be stayed away from any longer. May and Rakar helped her. Sadly, Rakar was cleared away into the stream, and No likewise lost in the battle. Eventually, Noah and May were gotten by the gorilla, assumed to a position where there were heaps of chimps. The wreck was where all the monkeys were assembled. There, No rejoined with his MOM, Anna, and Sana. Then again, May was taken to a room containing a great deal of human effects. It worked out that the room had a place with a man named Trevan, a human who has aligned himself with the gorillas and served Proximus, the chimp lord. May despised Trevan on the grounds that he lined up with the gorilla group. It turns out May could have done without the chimp faction. This is Proximus, the ongoing gorilla ruler. He grabbed gorillas from different tribes and made them his subordinates. Proximus was exceptionally fixated on Caesar. He even believed that he was Caesar, so he called himself Proximus Dier. Proximus requested the chimps to open an entryway there. It was felt that there was something entirely significant in it. They had been going after for a really long time, yet till now, they actually couldn't open it. That is the reason they brought May to this spot. Trevor needed May to open the spot. In the interim, No conversed with Sana. That is the point at which No was called by Proximus to go to his room. May and Trevor were likewise there, and presently Anna was Proximus' own associate. Proximus passed his vision of needing on to advance the primates to serious areas of strength for be antiquated people, who could do everything like flying and different abilities. Proximus accepted that behind the door, they could acquire information. Nonetheless, May said it was beyond the realm of possibilities for them to open that entryway. Yet Proximus' moronic subordinates really killed every one of May's companions, despite the fact that they might have taken them prisoner so they could uncover more data. As of now, May was the final straggler, thus, similar to it or not, May needed to open it. Furthermore, Proximus likewise needed to work with No on the grounds that he realized that No was a savvy monkey. Proximus attempted to converse with Noah, saying that his point in kidnapping all the chimp groups is to make their realm. They couldn't confide in people, and he realized that May really came here to take something behind the door. It was something that could make people brilliant and solid. Noah's MOM abandoned this present circumstance since they could do nothing in Proximus' place. That is the point at which Noah's dad's hawk came over, making Noah urge himself to battle Proximus and free his family. That evening, No came to May's room, needing to understand what she was truly searching for here. May asked Noah for help so she could take the article inside the entryway, and it was something that could make people brilliant and ready to talk once more. May likewise told the historical backdrop of why primates became savvy and could talk, and it was a result of the human-made infection. Since No could have done without Proximus' tyranny, he at long last needed to help Mike get the book, and furthermore obliterate the spot. Noah took Sana and Anna to assist him with climbing the precipice, on the grounds that to enter that spot, They needed to climb a precarious bluff. At first, they arranged explosives, then at that point, they set a few explosives in the dam so it would flood the spot when it was exploded later. Trevathan got them, yet May said that this spot wasn't Trevathan's place. Nonetheless, in light of the fact that Trevathan would have rather not collaborated, eventually, May had to choke him. In the wake of putting the explosives, they went directly up the lofty precipice, attempting to go into the room. They entered through the air passage, and when they were glancing near, it worked out that the spot was an army installation. May turned on the power there, making Noah and the others confounded and stunned in light of the fact that people could construct a spot like this. Noah and the others then, at that point, entered the youngsters' play region, seeing toys and, surprisingly, a book that shows that previously, monkeys were just creatures in the zoos. Then again, May figured out how to find the item she was searching for, a satellite key. Plus, she likewise tracked down a firearm. From that point forward, they quickly went out, going through different tanks. May would open this entryway, and when that occurred, no needed to rush to search for his group. They were welcomed by Proximus, who was stunned to see this spot. Here, Proximus was disheartened with No, who had faith in people, so Proximus had to kill Sana and No's faction. May shot Proximus soldiers who needed to kill Sana utilizing her firearm. This made Proximus stunned by the firearm, and he let me go as long as he could get something to that effect here. May didn't believe that Proximus should abuse human weapons, so she chose to explode the bomb, making the spot flood. Water started to flood the spot, and with incredible trouble, Noah and his faction rushed to save themselves to the highest point of that spot. Noah drove his family to go out through the air burrow. Around then, the gorilla came after Noah, so a battle broke out between them. Noah was sufficiently smart, so he had the option to outmaneuver the gorilla, causing him to stall out in the water. At last, Noah figured out how to get out and was welcomed by his family. Nonetheless, Proximus was likewise there. Proximus was irritated, so he beat Noah persistently. He said that Noah wouldn't have the option to obliterate his realm. Proximus advised Noah to awaken as an individual chimp so he could battle Noah decently. Noah sang the tune, gathering the falcon. All it made Noah's groups chime in, making the falcons come and assault Proximus. Eventually, Proximus kicked a bucket, falling into the ocean, and Noah has now prevailed with regards to turning into a pioneer, supplanting his dad. Noah figured out how to bring every one of his companions back home, and they could reside joyfully once more. May came to express farewell to Noah, and Noah at long last figured out that people would rather not share the world with the gorillas. Eniel likewise said that he would modify the planet of the gorilla. They would be a lot more grounded yet, at the same time, have sympathy. Assuming Rakar were here, he would let us know how Caesar conquered this, and made people and chimps live as one. May was moved and surrendered her expectation to shoot No. No then gave Caesar's accessory to her, and May at long last left. No went to assume Sana to a position they had never been to. Then again, May took the way into a research facility central command where people resided. It turns out there were as yet numerous smart individuals who endure the infection, yet they could do nothing in light of the fact that the specialized gadget at this point not existed. That is the reason they utilized the way to turn on the satellite, searching for a sign. At last, there were different people who answered them, and they were likewise searching for different survivors. Then again, No took Sun to a telescope to take a gander at the star he saw before the end.